All right, guys, thank you for joining me today. How does it sound? And obviously, it looks shitty because I'm using my webcam, my phone webcam. Someone said no audio. There is audio. Hello, trolls. 5x5. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, guys. Thanks. All right, so tonight we definitely have an 80s movie question for a $50 gift card. So for those of you that are interested, I didn't put the slow mode on because I want people to be able to answer this question. This is a two-part question. So to win the gift card, if you will, you have to get both of the answers right at the same time. So let me repeat. You have to answer both of the questions at the same time. So no two different answers or two different what you call it. Please put them in one text and send it through. Hopefully that made sense. But this should be a good question. I think a lot of people are going to have trouble with this one. But whatever. So let's get to the subject at hand. So tonight's subject matter is the aftermath of an EMP attack, right? So we're going to, I would say, theorize, war game, and imagine what the aftermath of an EMP attack would look like. Now, I am doing a video on this, and the video is probably going to be 2-3 parts because it's just too long to go over everything, right? So obviously, I don't want it to be 15, 20, 30 minutes long. I'm going to keep it down to 10, 12 minutes and break them up accordingly for each video. But anyway, so tonight also on the Angry Truth channel, we're going to be talking about the mother of all shots. Yeah, this is an interesting subject. A lot of us heard about this probably about a year ago, maybe, and now they are restarting the conversation and the research for it. So stay tuned for the Angry Truth channel at 10:15, 10:10. It's probably going to start earlier than that, but I had it set for 10:15. Other than that, let's get to it. So, the aftermath of an EMP attack, right, guys? So a lot of us know what an EMP attack or EMP is, right? It's an electromagnetic pulse. This is a device, whether it's nuclear or an E-bomb or next-gen weapon, rather, detonates or disperses electromagnetic pulse that will fry most of the electronics in whatever region it affects. So whether that's the United States, Russia, UK, I don't know, South America, for whatever reason, it will fry most of the electronics there. Now, we're going to be focused on the United States and the United States alone, even though if an EMP device was to go off in the atmosphere, that is, it would absolutely bring in some of Canada and most of Central America, which is Mexico and the rest of those countries below them. So, a nuclear device is detonated above the Earth's atmosphere during an early morning when Americans are getting up from either sleeping or just about to get up. The detonation can also happen during the middle of the day, which I think, as a tactical move, that would be a better. It would be a better result if you were the bad guy. Which we're war gaming, and we're going to play both sides of the field. So if I was the bad guy, I would detonate a nuclear device, not while people are home sleeping in bed, or the majority of America is sleeping in bed. I would detonate it while the majority of America is at work. And I'm going to get to the reason why the at work matters more than at home. So, most people, guys, live miles from home, and very few, I think it's like 2-3% of America can walk to work. Right, 76% of America travel to work alone in a vehicle. An additional, that's roughly 109 million people travel to work by vehicle. An additional 13 million carpool. Right, 60% of Americans live over 50 miles. All right, so keep that in mind. Less than 3%, like I said, or actually 2.7, walk to work. Now, in New York City, 556,000 people commute to work from other states. That's not the total amount of people working in New York City during the day. That's over 500,000 people travel to work from outside of New York State, meaning Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Connecticut. So with that, guys, I would detonate a nuclear device while everybody's at work because it will leave them stranded at work. If you wanted to maximize destruction, carnage, and psychological warfare, you would absolutely detonate it when they are at work because most vehicles, and we're going to go over the vehicle things in a little bit, will not work. But not all of them will shut down, right? So with that, guys, you're going to have a lot of people stranded at work. You're going to have a lot of people attempting to walk home from work. And you're going to have a lot of people staying at work trying to figure out what they're going to do next, right? So the initial response, guys, will be just another blackout. And the normies, the people who don't prepare, the normies are not going to realize what's going on yet. Preppers, on the other hand, will be trying to gather information from what is going on via comms and radios, right? So whatever radio device or battery-operated radio that we have, we'll be putting the batteries in and trying to listen to what is going on. Crime at that moment is probably going to immediately spike because criminals, guys, as soon as the power goes out, they're going to be on it. Now, we have here in the United States, rather New York City and even LA, have seen a spike in smash and grabs. So once the power goes out, guys, I would give it an hour or two before these guys start assembling their peoples and then running downtown and doing smash and grabs, right? Because everyone's going to be confused. There's going to be no power. There's going to be no communication. Now, these guys won't be able to communicate with one another, but what they will be able to do is get their boys together because, you know, a lot of them live in the area and they're going to go to whatever neighborhood that's directly closest to them and affect that and start going to war with the looting. So, criminals, guys, they're going to quickly realize that they have carte blanche of the city. They're going to be like, oh, shit, there's no cops. No cops will be able to respond. No, and they got it, right? Now, some of the, if you will, 9/11 systems in the country might be hardened, right? But most of them are not. But some of them might be. So, again, it depends on where you live. I can tell you right now, in New York City, it's not. So, it's fucking a free-for-all in the city. The entire 9/11 system, guys, will be down. And 9/11 response will be word of mouth. So, if people, for example, are trapped in an elevator, people will run to the nearest firehouse or police station to get those people out of the elevators. Now, side note, when I was a firefighter, I remember thinking, what happens if an EMP goes off? Would I go straight home or would I help out who I could? Well, I would give myself 12 hours. I'd take a bunch of guys. We'd hit all the buildings in our response area that had elevators and get people out because people will undoubtedly get stuck in the elevators. Now, for those people that are stuck in elevators, guys, it's going to be all over America, parts of Canada, parts of Mexico, and these people who are stuck in the elevator are most likely going to die if they can't get out. Now, some elevators, guys, you cannot get out of unless somebody is coming to get you. So if nobody's coming to get you, you are trapped in this box until you find a way out, you force your way out, you do something. But a lot of these elevators now are being are made a little sturdier these days, right? So again, that's that. But older elevators, you can absolutely jimmy your way out. But newer elevators, it's almost impossible to get out unless you have some kind of a tool. All right, so without emergency vehicles, guys, to respond, there will be no help responding. And too many places, emergency vehicles won't be able to respond, but the firefighters and cops will be able to respond on foot. So as long as it's in walking distance, police station, firehouses, and EMT stations will be able to respond to whatever's in walking distance. Some people, some guys, they're going to go above and beyond, especially those who recognize what's going on, right? Now, hospitals will quickly be overrun by patients from accidents that occurred due to the EMP. So, of course, if your car shuts down, your car doesn't just stop. You're going to keep rolling at whatever speed you're rolling at until you slow down or you are instantaneously stopped by whatever you smash into. So, hospitals will be filled with those patients who will be getting to the hospital via some old ambulances or old vehicles that are on the street or people carrying them in, right? Uh, Many people, unfortunately, will die within the first hour of an EMP detonation, right? So obviously, if an EMP goes off, there are a lot of things that might happen, guys, that will kill a lot of people within the first couple of minutes to first hour, right? That includes planes actually falling out of the sky, or at least gliding out of the sky until they fucking make a rough landing on the ground. And again, that's airplanes. You have Cessnas that will probably be able to glide to land, but the bigger 747, 737 planes, they're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to land, right? And a lot of them will just drop out of the sky, because a lot of the controls on the planes are all electronic now, right? Forrest Wendling. All right, guys. So with questions, do me a favor. Can you hold the questions till later? Let me get through most of this because this is a lot. Like I said, video form. When I do video form, it's going to be at least 3 parts because this is, guys. This is what to expect if on the aftermath of an EMP. I'm not saying this is going to exactly happen. There could be numerous things that don't happen. There could be numerous things that do happen that I wasn't unaware of. But this is me sitting here the last couple days, reading all the information about EMPs and what's what and what's not, and then putting this together. So if you can do me a favor and bear with me, I appreciate it. All right, guys. So with that, there will be thousands of people walking home or trying to figure out how to get home. People that live over 25 miles, most of them will stay at the office or a friend's house in the city. Now, obviously, guys, if you have no friends because you're an asshole, guess where you're sleeping? Sleeping in the office place. So keep that in mind. Preppers now. Now we're talking about us. We will initiate in this part of the hour, or rather a little later in the day, we'll start initiating our EMP blackout protocol or plans, whatever that is. I really don't have an EMP protocol or blackout. I just start getting to work. Preppers will, most of us will see the signs of what's going on and will hit the stores with the cash that we all pulled out ahead of time. A lot of us should have cash so that we can run to the stores and give the man fucking throw him $5 in singles and take the thing of water. Because water is going to be everyone's biggest problem unless you live on land that has a well or some kind of stream. The rest of us are fucked and we have to get extra water. Now, I have something like 55 gallons of water here. That's not enough. I would run out with my cash and get as much bottled water as I can possibly carry in like 8,000 trips. I would jump into action immediately and start getting water. If my car is still running, then I'm in the car and I'm headed upstate. Now, some of the normies are going to realize very soon that they can't buy shit because most people, 3 out of 10 people, do not carry cash anymore. And actually, it's probably a little higher than that now because those stats came from 2019. With the pandemic, I think the ratio of people not using cash versus cash is a little higher. 34% of millennials do not carry cash, and 53% of people carry cash for emergencies, right? That's not saying that they also don't use that cash when they have it on hand. Again, guys, preppers will be able to establish their comms with their neighbors and people who they have means to do so with. So if I have, I don't have anything that can reach Hudson Valley Prepping or Old Mutt, for example. I don't have any kind of comms that'll reach them, but we will be working on it within the next couple of weeks to do so. As far as vehicle goes, we're going to get into that a little bit, but I found out some surprising information about cars and their ability to run after an EMP. Now, most people do not have battery-operated radios, guys, so most of them will be in the dark. Now, though that a lot of them don't have battery-operated radios, I have my Bofang, which is fucking somewhere around here, and then I also have my my battery-operated radio in the closet. So I should be fine as far as listening to what is going on. But as soon as I get word that it was an EMP attack, everything, all bets are off, and we start initiating our plan. People will have to get somewhere safe before nightfall. Again, guys, this is New York City. We're watching people get fucking snuffed in the face, punched in the mouth during the day. So with the power out, with all fucking cops scattered throughout the city, all of them not be able to come into work either, right? So that's the other thing, guys, right? So, for example, 9/11, when that happened, cops, firemen, EMTs flew into work, right? If you worked for the government, you were fucking racing into work. With an EMP attack, nobody's racing into work. Who's ever stuck at work is stuck at work, and they're probably going to be overrun until they leave and go home. So, if you are in the city, you're going to have to need to find a safe place, whether that's a church, a community center, your friend's house, or just staying at your job. The greatest example of that was the 1977 blackout here in New York City, right? Now, I think it was more the East Coast than just New York City, but New York City turned into hell that night. Now, I was born in July of 77, so I don't remember any of that, but there was a Times article magazine a couple months later that was called A Hellish Night in NYC or A Hellish Night in New York City, one of the two. Now, here's some interesting notes about cars. Some cars might be running after an EMP detonation. Now, cars older than 87, 90, and earlier will still be running for the most part. Newer cars, it's not clear whether newer cars will run or not. The EMP effect on hybrids and electric vehicles have not been currently studied. So, there's no studies on EMP or hybrid cars as of now. And that was back in 2016 or 19 that study came out. So maybe they did something in the last couple of years, but to my knowledge, there hasn't been anything done yet. And the EMP Commission Report, that was written back in, I think, 2012 or 5. I don't know, but it was written a while back. I can pull it up for you guys in a couple of seconds. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up for you guys right now. Fuck that shit. Right, guys? So, the study finding also suggests that 90% of cars on the road in 2004 would suffer no ill effects from the EMP blackout, though 10% would either stall or suffer permanent damage, requiring the driver to do something to get it started, whether that's restart the car, disconnect the battery, reconnect it. Again, keep in mind, guys, it's 90% of the vehicles, as of 2004 study, will not suffer any permanent damages. Let's see. I hate when I look for shit and I'm like, man, I should have had this ready to rock and roll. And I thought I did. Let's see. Sorry. Yeah, I think it was 2000. I don't know. Whatever. I'll get there. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I think it was 2004. Anyway, not the point. But I will put a link to the EMP Critical National Infrastructure Report in the description section below. So look for that after the, Yes, so, yeah, guys, I see some of the comments here. There's a lot of conflicting reports about vehicles and shutting off and all this other bullshit. But again, this came from the EMP Commission Report. 2004. Sorry, it's right in fucking front of me. Anyway, not the point. The point is that some vehicles will still be running according to them. If it changes within the next fucking hour, couple of days, then that's what it is. Keep in mind, this also, guys, this study was almost 20 years ago. So 2004, that's almost 20 years. We do have electric cars, and more cars have more electrical components in them now. So we don't know whether or not they're going to be completely shut down, but they do know that cars will lose some components of that car. So keep that in mind. Like the radio might not work, or you might not be able to roll your windows down. Some sensor of your car might be flashing the entire time you're driving. So keep that in mind with these electrical cars. Again, no study has been confirmed, so we will see. So anyway, guys, also, yes, your devices have to be plugged into a wall for them to be shorted out. So if your computer is sitting on a table for whatever reason, it's not plugged in, it will be okay. Your phone, not plugged in, it will be fine. If it's not plugged in, it will be fine. If it's plugged in, it will be fried. Get it? So if something happened now, all my shit, with the exception of my phone and my iPad, would fry. But they would be rendered useless. At least my phone would be rendered useless, but not my iPad, because I still have a ton of information on this iPad. But that's not the point. 22 minutes, not bad. So, guys, cars might be blocking the highway. They might not be blocking the highway. So if your car is still drivable, for example, here in New York City, you might be stuck in traffic. Because cars are blocking the way, period. Some cars die, some trucks die. We're going to have major roadblocks. So keep that in mind, because cars that are in garages underground, they will still be functional because they are essentially in a Faraday cage underground. Now, I do not know how many stories underground they have to be to work, but nonetheless, some of them will be working, right? Because they're protected. Remember, you got steel beams everywhere, and you got rebar all throughout the parking garage, right? And then the further down you go, the safer the car. Now, some parking garages are 2-3 levels down. I'm pretty sure anything below 2 is going to be safe. I don't know about the first floor, and I don't know about the second sub-level, sorry. But I know that the third will be safe. So, while you're driving, guys, it should be, and most likely will be, a situation for you to contend with. But you will have to either drive as far as you can and walk, or just walk home. Those are your two choices. That's why a lot of us should have get-home bags in our cars and or office places. Now, sorry, guys, the commission report was 2008, not 2004. Sorry about that. I just found the date. And that is the commissioner members, Dr. John Forrester, Mr. Earl Galide, Dr. William R. Graham, Dr. Robert, Dr. Peter Price, also involved in this, Dr. Joanne B. Woodard. These are doctors that were involved, and generals that were involved in this study. It's a pretty boring fucking study, but it's also interesting as well. So it also would be in your better interest to look at it, because they give you an idea of what's going on. So, where are we? A couple more minutes. Now, guys, during the first initial outbreak of all of this, confusion's going to be going on. We, the prepper community, we're going to probably identify it pretty goddamn fast, right? Now, a blackout is a blackout. But if you take your TV set, for example, or you take your, I don't know, something that you have plugged in, your cable box, and you plug it into your solar generator or your generator, and it doesn't come on, that means it was fried. Because I don't know, that's the other thing too, I don't know if there's going to leave a smell behind that allows you to go, oh, like an electrical burn, right? Or electrical fire smell, like a soft hint of it. You might smell it if it does fry anything in your electronic devices. At least it should. And if you do smell something, that means your shit's fried. That's one of the things you should notice. Because if it does short it, you should be able to smell something. But again, I don't know. I've never read anything on identifying smells with an EMP. I'm just spitballing that. If I am wrong, please put it in the comment section below. Anyway, guys, in a city like New York, like I said, a ton of people are probably going to be dead within the first couple of hours. And then you're going to have people in the next 3 to 4 days that are going to die in elevators, because not everybody's going to be able to get to them. Now, obviously, I'm going to get to who I can get to, and that's me being who I am and the shit I have. No problem, Northern Girl. Thank you for helping out, and thank you for showing up tonight. Appreciate it. All right, guys. So again, it's going to be a shit show in a city like New York, or any big city. If you live in a suburban neighborhood, you'll probably be okay. There are very short buildings in those areas, so there are not a lot of elevator buildings. So those buildings will be easier to clear, if you will. But if you have a building like the New World Trade Center, that building will probably be cleared as well. But there's so many buildings here in the city that have so many elevators, there might be a problem. Yeah, Prepper 101, EMP is odorless, but my understanding is if there's a surge of energy frying things, there should be a smell of some sort, like an electrical burn smell. like a hint of it. Not saying heavy, not pungent, but it should be, if that's the idea, right? If it's frying everything the way it is. But anyway, I could be wrong. Like I said, you know what? We won't know until it happens. So let's just hope not. And yes, magically me. This is not just pertaining to an EMT. Can also pertain to a bad solar storm. So let's keep that in mind as well. You can get an EMP from a solar storm. So it might not just be a missile detonating in the sky. It could be a bad solar storm. The one thing about a solar storm, though, is that a solar storm affects the side of the planet that the sun's shining on, right? So if we're mid-turn, and let's just say, all praying that a big solar storm lets go, and it hits the side of the planet that still has sun, and let's say New York is already in the dark, but California still has sun, well, they'll get all the electrical shit burned. If it does hit the power grid that sits above, I forgot what the fuck it is in Canada, and it fries that, we will see a power outage here in the East Coast, right? So again, what percent do you think we will have an EMP? Again, save the questions for later, but James, I don't know. If we're just talking about this, we're theorizing. That's all it is. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying, it could happen. If it could happen, this is what to expect. You'd be able to smell the weld spots on the electronics. Timothy Lerrett, that's what I was thinking. But anyway, like I said, I don't know. It's just something I'm spitballing with. Is Pinball in here? Pinball, hey, thank you. Thank you for joining me, man. Appreciate it. I know you had a live stream on. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, guys, we are at the 28-minute mark. Let's go. Thank you for the super chat. High miles per hour. Appreciate it. And yes, to see it, thank you, Jennifer Livingston. Yes, to see it, the Carrington event was that CME that had EMP effect on the telephone lines, not telephone lines, what is that called? Not Morse code, telegram lines, right? Those fried to the ground, and so did the relay stations. They burned down as well. Not all of them, but a majority of them did. It took them a couple months to get those back up and running, but it wasn't the end of the world. Yes. EMP smells like hipsters. So it'll be a bit confusing here in New York City, I guess. But I don't know, guys. Listen, I was sitting down writing this, and there is a lot telegraphed. Thank you, Texas Surplus Pro. I was writing, there was so many things that we can talk about. You can talk about crimes, fires. That's the other thing too, guys. There are fires that might be started because of this EMP. It depends on how strong the EMP, depends on how strong that surge is, can start a fire. So if it does start a fire, without fire trucks, you'll probably have fires roaming throughout the city. Plus, you might have people using candles at night. So you're undoubtedly, at night, going to have fires breaking out because people are using candles. And what do people do when they use candles? They normally knock them the fuck over, right? So if you're going to use a candle, make sure you have water nearby. Make sure you have some kind of water nearby, whether it's a bottle of water or some shit, and watch the candle. If you're going to walk away from that candle for a long period of time, blow it the fuck out and relight it again. Simple as that. That's how you save your home. Now, if you live in an apartment building, you have a multitude of problems during an EMP. Not only do you have people lighting candles and leaving them unattended and possibly falling over because a stupid fucking cat came walking by and knocks it over, you have other people that are going to pay that sacrifice. So, that event, rather, right? So someone knocks a candle over on the fucking 2 floors below, that fire goes unchecked. That's going to make its way up here. So I would have to stay vigilant during the night, especially with fucking fires and the smell of fires. Yes, Ken Step, you could bring a fire extinguisher, but if I have a fire extinguisher and I get downstairs and the shit's meeting me at the door, fire extinguisher is not going to work. You know what I'm saying? It might work long enough to, I don't know, get my fucking family out of the building, but it's not going to work long enough to extinguish the fire. Now, some water can extinguishers, that's what we carry, or what firefighters carry, rather, that'll put back a lot of fucking fire. But if I get to someone's doorstep because I smell it and I look and I'm like, holy shit, it's meeting me at the door, fire extinguisher's useless. So just know that. Fire extinguishers are good at the first stage of fire. Once a room like the one I'm in starts going, all bets are off. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of a lot of bad things that can happen. Like I said, the first fucking couple of hours. Yes, also, thank you, Bill Junking Fool. You got to be careful of carbon monoxide as well. And you're not going to smell that. And your detector probably will work, actually, because it's battery operated. It's not plugged in. Now, there are some smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors that are hardwired in, especially in the projects. They hardwired them in the projects because fucking people are too fucking lazy to change their own batteries. And every time a fire happens, some asshole goes, well, why don't you give me batteries? Because you couldn't fucking go and get batteries on your own. The city had to pay for you idiots to get them fucking hardwired in. Please, that fucking subject pisses me off to no end. Because people becoming lazy assholes and can't afford fucking batteries. They'd rather fucking get a pack of cigarettes and a fucking can of beer laser and fucking drink that shit to fucking all hell. But you can't afford batteries to protect your family. Whatever, man. So, that being said, guys, some are hardwired in and those will fry. So they will have to be a little more vigilant as well. Now, City Prepping did a video on apartments and staying in the apartment because it does provide you a little more protection than being out in the street. And he's right. The one thing about fires, guys, is that you have to understand with different apartments is that an apartment like mine, if a fire gets going in an apartment like mine, my building is old school, if I'm not mistaken, before World War II, pre-World War II building, right? So this building is fairly fucking old. It's all wood. The wood in this building is probably a little over 100 years old. If not, it's a little over 100 years old. So if there's a fire in this building and it goes unchecked and it gets into the walls, it's game over, right? This building's going to fucking completely go. So you would see buildings roaring throughout cities across America. Yes, City Prepper or City Prepping. City Prepping has a lot of fucking... he did... That was a good video. That was a well thought out video. I was like, you know what? It was good. The fire part, again, he knows what he knows. There was a couple of things that he missed, but it wasn't much. It wasn't much at all, actually. But that's a definitely good video to look at when you're contending with fires and shit like that. So anyway, with that, guys, a lot of people are going to die within the first day. Hands down. Especially with the candles and shit like that and knocking them over. People are definitely going to die. They're going to be idiots that'll probably be barbecuing in their home. So somebody else who's sleeping at the time is probably going to die from carbon monoxide as well. So we're going to have a lot of dead people all over the city. Or cities or United States, right? So we're going to have that problem to contend with. There was a guy, I hate to say this, during the blackout of 2003, who fell off a roof. He was walking in the street, he's walking on a roof, and somehow he fell the fuck off. Now, there are walls, parapets we call them, right? Parapets are these little walls around the roof. Somehow he fell off, he took a fucking 5-story nosedive. We get there and he's breathing, but you could tell he ain't making it. So, anyway, we'll see people falling off of fucking buildings and shit like that as well. So, guys, there will be multiple traumas during this whole thing. All right, now, we are at the 35-minute mark. I have more to discuss over this. We'll be talking about the next day. But let's talk about breaks. Now, guys, hate to do this, but we're going to do a nutrient survival commercial, I guess. And it's going to be plain and simple today. Nutrient survival, get that shit. It makes your fucking balls bigger and grows hair on your chest. And please eat the stuff if you want to survive the next apocalypse that's coming. All right? There goes my nutrient survival commercial. That's it. Secondly, I'm going to read the movie question. Guys, the movie question this month is 80s based. 80s based movie questions only. So, here goes the question. What happened to the hotel in The Lost Boys that the vampires slept in? And what year was the incident that it happened to the hotel? I'll give you guys 20 seconds to answer that. And then, fuck you guys. You guys are out. $20 seconds now. Burn down. Nope, wrong. Wrong Frugal Fixer. Earthquake and shit. Okay, you got to give me the year, guys. It's a two-part. Earthquake is right, but it's a two-part question. You guys have to get both of them. No, not 1972, 1782, 2025. That's a good one. Nice. Somebody was close, but you have to get both of them together, guys. Now, I told you, not just one answer and then the second answer. Okay, Cricket Girl, you're close. Texas Surplus Pro, you win. Very good. He actually followed, and he was the first one to answer that. And Annie came in a fair second. So Annie and Texas Surplus Pro, email me at angryprepper@gmail.com. Thank you. That was a really close second. Hudson's Bluff. Yes, but okay, guys. So in the movie Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland, who was it? Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. The hotel that the vampire slept in was actually taken down by an earthquake back in 1906. Right. So that's the full answer, but it burned in 1987. No, no. Someone said 2025. That was pretty good. All right, guys, you lost. Thank you for playing, though. That was pretty good. That was actually good. The fact that people actually remember that it's awesome. It's those kind of questions, guys, that I'll be asking. The little nuances in the movie that people didn't like really pay attention to, but only a true fan who watched it 1,000 times paid attention to it. But I have another question coming up Friday. And Friday, by the way, what is it, April 1st? I will have Just Josh on with me. We'll have a discussion. It will not be so much as an interview, but it should be fun. Right? So it should be fun. Anyway, let's get on with this. Now, guys, the next day. Oh, wait. Let me announce two more things. I'm sorry. Let me get two more things out of the way. Again, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival has a bug out weekend. That is April 23rd into 24th. It's an overnight. This is going to be a test your skill bug out weekend, and you will be graded on this. This is in Akramdale, New York, at the Hornet's Nest Paintball Facility. Sorry. And again, guys, it's going to be a great night. So we're definitely a great night. It'll be a great weekend. Sorry. And that should be fun. Also, Prepper Nurse 1, April 8th and 10th. That is next week. He's having a gathering in West Virginia. Hopefully my car's ready by then, or else I'm walking. If you want to be part of a bug out group or his community, please contact Prepper Nurse 1 at preppernurse1@yahoo.com. Again, that's going to be a good gathering, a good shindig to fucking go to. So that should be cool. I will be at both events. All right, guys. So now, the detonation or the sunspot that fucked the planet, we're into the next day. People will still be stranded at work, and now they'll start to realize that something's wrong. There's been no updates. There's been no reconnecting of power. There's no communications going on still, unless you have a battery-operated radio or some kind of comms equipment that survived the EMP attack or detonation, right? With no communication, guys, people will start to get nervous, if not scared, because they don't have a clue to what's going on. They will also have no idea what's going on with their families and friends. So if you are stuck at work, you don't know what the fuck's going on at home, especially if you live 50, 60 miles from home, right? Sorry. Especially if you live 50, 60 miles from home. You're definitely going to be wondering what the fuck's going on. And then you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to walk home or you're going to wait it out another day or two. Now, keep in mind, there's probably no food at your job off unless you're raiding the fridge. And by then, the fridge has already been off for probably 12 hours, if not a little more. So whatever's in there, you either eat immediately, you pack, and you walk home. You have to do something. Now, if you are going to walk home, guys, keep this in the back of your head. On average, it takes a person 1 hour to walk 3 miles, on average. So if you're faster, it'll be a little more than that, a little less than that, sorry. If you are slower, it's going to be more than that. So keep that in mind. If you are walking at a 3 mile, sorry, 1 hour, 3 mile pace, that's a good pace to have. Don't overdo it. Don't start walking fast to get home. Don't start fucking hightailing it. Yes, grab a bicycle if you can and ride your ass home. Those e-bikes that are here, they might be locked. They might not open up, or they might. Some people said if you jimmy them hard enough, you can wiggle them right out of the docks. Try that. If there's a bike store, swindle with the guy to get the bike so you can get home. I think that the bike stores will probably be sold out by that point because a lot of people would have thought that in the first day. I'm getting a bicycle and I'm going home. And they would have used whatever cash they had on them or traded whatever they traded with them to get that bike. If you have a scooter that might still be working, you could try that as well. Again, we don't know the effects on these e-bikes, these bicycles that are out here, or these scooters. So we don't know if they're going to work or not. So if they do work, take one of those home. But again, people are going to start being scared and nervous. Now, food will start to become compromised at this point. Well, actually, it will take another day or two before food starts to become compromised. But with no power, a lot of the supermarkets are going to start dumping that food out. I think it's 24 hours, and they got to ditch it. If it's off, I think it's 12 or 24 hours. Supermarkets without power for 12 or 24 hours, they get rid of the food immediately. Supermarkets will start getting raided at this point because most people live day to day with the food in their kitchen. So supermarkets will have people come in there with cash, and those who don't have cash are going to get angry because they don't have food, and they will start raiding supermarkets. Supermarkets will start seeing fistfights the next day, if not 2 days later. And this will become the problem of supermarkets all over the country. Now, local stores, local general stores, they're not going to have this problem because they know everybody in town. So they won't have to deal with this. And local stores and supermarkets, what they'll do is they'll have a little check sheet or a chip, if you will, and they'll write down the name and what you bought, and they'll put it in their book. That's local stores. Supermarkets here in New York City or cities are not going to do that unless they know you. I know, for example, the corner store on the corner here. They'll let me do that. They'll keep in track of the back of their head. Okay, you owe me X, Y, and Z. If the power ever comes back on. Now, again, preppers, we know the power's not going to come back on at this point. But these people don't know that. So whatever it is, play into it, get more food, get more water, and then bounce. And then leave an IOU and then say, payment never, some shit like that. I don't know. But that's going to be their problem. Now, fights will undoubtedly break out at supermarkets, pharmacies, and even gas stations. Because people are going to realize that, well, if their car's still running, they're going to need gas. But if the gas station's pump is fried, they're not going to be able to siphon gas out unless they siphon it directly from the tanks, which they might start doing, depends on the gas station. So keep that in mind. In the city, they might not do that. But in a rural area or where he knows everyone, they might start going through they might start siphoning the gas for people. So keep that in the back of your heads. This is why you run with cash, right? Because you're not going to be able to use your debit cards because all of those will be fried. Now, people are going to start to realize how bad this is getting when they realize there's no communications. When they realize the next day, which is like day 2, that there's no communications, there's no reconnecting of power. If you live in a city like New York, you'll see the power flicker back on and then go off. If you don't see that within the first day or two, you know that it's game over. It's fucking EMP time. People with radios will be relaying messages of the news that they're hearing, but you know what happens when people relay messages, guys? The message gets lost in translation. So it was an EMP attack from Russia. By the time it gets to your fucking cousin in Ohio, it'll be like it was an EMP attack and the Eskimos in Alaska did this, right? So keep that in the back of your head. Vancity Prepper, thank you for the donation. Shit will always get lost in translation, always, right? Because then that guy's like, well, they said that it was launched from a country on the other side of the ocean there, but they don't know exactly what it was. Meanwhile, you just fucking heard 5 minutes ago that the guy told you it was from fucking Russia or fucking some rogue country on the other side of the world. But again, lost in translation. With no leadership, guys, people will start to become really scared. Now, a lot of us, we're not reliant on leaders. We don't rely on these leaders. We don't rely on any of these politicians. But suffice it to say, there are people out there that rely on these dumb-ass politicians to lead them the fucking, I don't know where they're going to lead them to. But they will be scared when they realize their leadership is now not coming to save them. They're going to realize in the third and fourth day that the shit is getting real and it's going to get real fast. Here in the city, guys, it's going to go to 0 to 60 on the first fucking hour. And after that, it will not stop until there's nothing to take, burn, or pillage. That's how it's going to operate in cities like New York and even some towns. Not saying all towns, but some towns. Those of you that have medical conditions like diabetes or something like that, figure out a way how to store your meds without the fridge. This is why I tell people the solar generators or a generator is a good idea to, at the very least, keep your fridge going if you have meds. Now, if you don't want to use all that power for a fridge, get a smaller fridge to put your meds in and keep them cool. But if you are diabetic that is taking insulin, do yourself a favor and get as much as you can get your hands on from your doctor and put that in the small fridge using whatever generator you're going to use. I say solar because you're going to run out of gas, and solar's going to last a little longer. It's not going to last forever, but it's going to last a little longer, hopefully long enough till power gets started on again. So again, that's something that you should definitely go. Yes, I know some of you mentioned rape and some shit like that. Yes, rape is going to go into fucking high gear. Kidnapping is going to go into high gear. Murder is going to look like The Purge. That's exactly what it's going to look like. It'll be The Purge times 1,000, right? So, yeah, insulin, guys, in a smaller fridge is the way to go. And there are a lot of small fridges out there. Just get one for your meds. That's going to use less power for your generator and or your solar generator to run. Pinball says, gee, where can I get a solar generator? That was a good video, by the way. The solar generator video. And he's got the nice one too. He's got the rich white man generator. I got the poor black man generator, a little small, tiny one. But anyway, just kidding. But yes, guys, get something that's going to help you. Now, as far as solar generators go, I'll put some links in the description section below. But I think for an EMP or a solar storm, I think those two make sense, because they're going to last you, like I said, a little longer, especially if you miser the power you're using. Right? Just put that in, again, in the back of your head. You know, it's something that you should consider. That's it. So, guys, with that, water will be a huge issue, right? Water is going to be a huge issue, especially in a city like New York, because there's no pumps. There's no pumps to get the waters into the city, and there's no pumps to get the water up the taller buildings. Now, I live in a smaller building. I'll have a trickle for a little while until there's no trickle at all. Bigger buildings will immediately have no water as soon as the first person opens their water. Supporting BLM now. Nice one, Pinball. Yeah, sorry. So water will become a problem in those buildings, and as soon as the first person turns their water faucet on, a lot of that pressure's gone. So you're going to have to find a way. That's why I said a lot of us are going to run to the store and get water bottles and shit like that, because water is going to be a major concern here. Even though I live by the river, I'm not drinking that shit, and I'm not distilling it either. I mean, I'm going to try to distill it. I'm like, no, not doing that. Water filter is going to help be your best friend if you find water in certain places in the city, like, for example, what they call standpipes in the projects or tall buildings. They have something called standpipes. A lot of them have water that sits in there. Now, the water is black. It has all that gunk in it. So you're going to have to use a filter to filter that water. But if you filter that water, guys, whether you filter the hydrant water with all that brown gunk, all the rust in it, or standpipe water with all that black gunk in it, you're going to burn through the filter faster. Just keep that in mind. Right? So, that's something to consider. Again, guys, tall buildings will feel this effect first. Also with tall buildings, guys, people who have medical emergencies in this tall building, again, are going to wind up being the ones that die, because who's going to walk up 37 floors to get anyone? EMS might do it, but if they walk up 37 floors, they got to walk 37 floors down. Now, triaging. This is me wargaming this. Triaging goes, guys, if you are stuck in a fucking building that's over 10 to 20 stories, EMS, by the time they get up to you, if you are having a heart attack, you are not coming out of that building. If you are still alive having a heart attack, they will get you out. But if you are dead and you just died, they're not going to get you out of the building, because it's going to waste time. If they have to walk up 37, 40 flights to come and get you and go, oh shit, he's dead, let's work on him, they're not going to waste the resources working on you when they can come back down and help somebody else. And again, that's me theorizing that because it hasn't happened yet, but I can see people doing it. I can see crews doing it. I'm sorry. Because I'm not going to walk up 40 floors just to try to work you up and you don't come back. Now I wasted all this material on you when there's somebody else I could have helped. That's what triaging looks like. And triaging, guys, unfortunately, that's what it's going to look like for the first couple of weeks in hospitals. They're going to look at certain guys and go, we can't save him. He has to be put on the vent. He's done. She's got to be put on the dialysis machine. She's done. So it's going to suck. EMPs won't let me be. Nice. So, guys, with that, there's going to be a lot of people dying from dehydration. There's going to be a lot of people dying from starvation. First couple of weeks here in the city. Dehydration, obviously, the first couple of days. Starvation, at least a month, if not a little more. Those people are going to die. Now, for those of us preppers that still live in a city like morons, this guy here, we are going to be battling a lot of motherfuckers. A lot. Because people are going to be knocking on our doors come the second, third week looking for food. Now, we have older people in this building. I told you before, there's 1 or 2 people I'll help out. Everybody else, fuck you. Right? Because I don't like half the building anyway. That being said, a lot of people will be coming to the doorstep or anyone's door looking for food. When people get hungry, guys, they're going to be knocking on everyone's door. It's not going to just be my door. They're just going to be knocking on everyone's door. They're going to be going door to door. You're going to have roving gangs going door to door looking for food and water. Right? So, again, if you don't have protection, it is time to get yourself protection. Let's put it like that. Yes, John, solar is limited, but so is gas generators. I think gas generators are a little more limited when it comes to not getting a sufficient amount of gasoline to run it. Whereas solar generators have gotten better over the years. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, for example, the Jackery, right? The Jackery takes fucking forever to charge with the sun. But the EcoFlow doesn't. But I have 2. I'm looking to get a third one. So if you have 3 solar generators, you should be fine for a longer period of time, but not forever and definitely not for years, but for a longer period of time. It's better to have something and extend your comfort or help, if you will, a couple of months, if not a year or 2, but I wouldn't say years. I wouldn't say 3, 4, 5 years because these things could shit the bed. We haven't put these things to the test the way they should be put to the test. Right? So again, it's something to consider. That's all. It's not, Michelle DeGray, solar panels will fry if you have them out in the sun. If you don't have them outside, you'll be all right. I don't have my solar panels on the roof right now, so they'll be okay when an EMP goes off. Yes, rain barrels are great. That's another thing to get, guys. Rain barrels. A lot of you remember 28 Days Later, where the guy on the roof had all those jars and shit on the roof to collect water. You want a bigger catch, not a smaller catch like a bowl. So I have something that's called a leak catcher. And the leak catcher is designed to catch leaks in big buildings. Well, my leak catcher is designed to hang up underneath the fire escape. And then I'll catch the water that way. And I will filter the water later when I capture all the water that I need. Again, we have some good rainstorms here, so we can get a lot of good water in those rainstorms, but those are few far in between. I do have jugs designed for just rainwater. But again, the rainwater is going to be tainted with little bits of metal because it's coming off the fire escape. Or rather dirt, sorry. And it's going to be coming off the fire escape. But I have a backup plan for that as well. Again, guys, when it comes to water, that was probably my main focus here in the city. Is where I'm going to get the water, how I'm going to get the water, right? And hopefully people can follow that too. Also, guys, if you do not mind, hit the thumbs up or the thumbs down, whatever floats your boat. Let's get the, helps with the algorithm and all that other bullshit, yada, yada, yada. She goes, no, solar panels will fry. Michelle, again, solar panels cannot fry. Like the Jackery and the EcoFlow, they're not connected to anything, and they're in a case. They're not going to fry. Other solar panels will fry. Yes, if you have solar panels on your roofs, yeah, absolutely. You're shit out of luck. But if you don't, you'll be fine. Again, guys, the EMP myth, not everything is going to fry. It has to be connected to a power source for it to fry. Or be damaged. Sorry, rather damaged, right? So that's how it works. It has to work through the system. It just doesn't sit on your table like this phone. Right now, EMP goes off. This phone's not going to fry. But if it's plugged in while it's charging, it will fry. Now, I don't know what you would do if you had solar panels. Because solar panels and you have an EMP or a sunspot, you definitely will lose those panels. There should be a way to protect them, but I don't know. So Jackie H is asking, what is an EMP? An EMP is an electromagnetic pulse. That is where most electronic equipment that is hardwired, plugged in, or has a large metal base gets fried from an electromagnetic pulse, whether that's the sun or a nuclear device detonating above the Earth's atmosphere. So hopefully that answered that question. Now, gear. Okay, so I'll probably be doing a part 2 to this next week or the following week after that, guys, because there's more to this, right? We're going to talk about the breakdown effect of society in part 2. There'll be a societal breakdown. Watching people eat spam. That's when you know society is at its lowest, when people start eating spam. Societal breakdown. You motherfucker. Sorry. Bread down? Nope. Sorry. Alright, good. That's fixed. Erroneous smell penis. Okay, I don't know why I read that. Sorry. No, listen, Nomad metal detecting. I would unplug it, but I'm not saying that it's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. I'm just, we're like speculating and wargaming and shit like that. That what could happen. But if you don't want your solar panels to fry, yeah, keep them unplugged, if you don't need them plugged in. Michael, do me a favor. I have not looked at the latest groundwater maps. If you have a link, please email me at angryprepper@gmail.com. Greatly appreciate it. So, let's see. Where are we at tonight? Oh, shit. 30 seconds. 30 seconds, guys, when we go off the air. Corned beef hash is my favorite canned meat. Holly, I love corned beef hash, too. My wife hates corned beef hash. My wife's like, it smells like dog food. I'm like, I know. That's why I like it. It smells like dog food and it tastes really good. But spam? Fuck that shit. Spam are for fucking pussies and hipsters. I don't know. Maybe not hipsters, but definitely ugh on the spam. Fuck that shit. Follow him. Battery run items will not fry if they are not plugged into a device. They have to be plugged in to the source to get fried. That's how it works. It's again a lot of the stuff we've read when a lot of us first started prepping. It was like all electronic devices will fry. No, that is not even close to true. The truth of the matter is it has to be plugged in or have a large metal base. So for whatever reason, your your laptop is metal and it's sitting outside. Yes, it could possibly fry. But a lot of electronic devices in homes, in apartment buildings like mine, the buildings itself act like a Faraday cage, guys, because you have metal, steel, rebar all throughout the building, right? So there's a lot more to it than what we think. It's not just it fries. There's more science to it. Again, the Emp Commission Report is something you guys should definitely read if you're curious about the results of the EMP effect on our infrastructure. It's pretty good. Again, we're going to talk about food and the breakdown of food and what's going to happen with the production of food, meaning the slowdown of production, which gets insanely bad by like the first week. The food production comes to a halt. Some places will probably still be able to process food by hand, like those local butchers out in the middle of nowhere. They'll still be able to butcher shit by hand. But a lot of the big commercial places will be shut down. Trucks will probably not be running because they might not have gasoline. Some trucks will be running, not gasoline, sorry, diesel. Some trucks might be running because maybe they have access to it, but other trucks won't have access to it. So it's going to be a fucked up show when it comes to food and delivery, and a lot of places are not going to get that influx of deliveries. Major cities might get it first, who knows? But if the city breaks down before that food gets here, deliveries may never come here because it'll be a war zone, right? It'll look like fucking Ukraine. So, again, guys, keep that in mind. And if, again, any discrepancies when it comes to EMP, please let me know in the comment section below. Or do your own research and you'll see exactly what I've... and I've been reading this stuff for a couple of years, so it's not like new. I didn't decide today to fucking start... reading about EMPs. I've been reading. I was interested with EMPs because of that book, 1 Second After. 1 Second After, guys, that is a book everyone should read. If you never read it, read the fucking thing. Stop watching this bullshit live stream right now and go read 1 Second After. I promise you, at the very least, it is an awesome book. Well written, entertaining, and then all the factors of the shit that goes down with the EMP. So, guys, we are going to head over to the Angry Truths channel. We're going to switch gears. We're going to talk about the mother of all shots. And I think you guys should absolutely be abreast of what's going on with this new technology that they're working on that's inevitably going to wind up fucking us all. But again, you have to find out in the Angry Truths channel what's going on with that. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. Congratulations to the 2 winners earlier today. Mods, thank you for doing what you guys do, and I will see you guys in 5 to 3 minutes. I don't know. I'll see you guys over there.